Hello and welcome to Wisdom Bites. Hope you're well. Thank you once again for joining us. Much appreciated. Now, apologies for the delay in the video. Hopefully we can get back to the regular 3 videos a week or more. Now, lots of action going on with Bitcoin, as I'm sure you are already aware, and the altcoins as well. So in today's video, I'm going to actually look at what's been happening to Bitcoin and what the indicators are telling us in terms of going forward in the next few days and weeks. Now, we're going to also look at the bigger picture of Bitcoin, and that's why we have this 4-year cycle chart that we can actually know when we zoom out that this is what the actual bigger picture is and where we're aiming for and where we're at the moment and where we've come from in the last 3-4 years. I'm also going to look at the bigger picture with Bitcoin for the next 12 months by looking at the long-term investing that we have. As you know, on this channel, we are long-term investors and we want to keep an eye on the exit indicators. So I'll go through the exit indicators and what they are telling us and whether we're on target, whether we're on course to reach our target at the end of next year. I'll also look at 3 alternatives to the cryptos, which are basically not coins or currencies. They're basically the Bitcoin miners and what they're up to and what are the possibilities of investing in those. Now, I want to remind everyone before I begin that everything in this video is for educational purposes only and nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. I hope and I expect everyone to do their own wider research before making any decisions. So with that out of the way and without further ado, let's get cracking. Okay, so let's start off by looking at the 4-year cycle chart here. And basically this 4-year chart started from December 2017 when we topped out in the last bull market, creating the all-time high of 19,800. This is our target at the end of December 2021, where we are expecting the price of Bitcoin to be around the 300,000 mark. So we've had this bear market, we're now in this bull market. We're currently here, so we're going to zone in on here. But before I do that, as you can see, there are these red channels here. Now, this current red channel here is actually corresponding to the one back in 2015, 2016. As you know, with Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin and the charts and the patterns, they rhyme with what's happened historically. So what happens here has a direct bearing on what goes on here. And as we've been doing, we've been following these charts and looking at exactly what the current price is doing and what it could do in the next few days and weeks. So what we'll do now is we'll zone in on this current price and have a look at exactly what the current situation is. Okay, so this is the current price action with Bitcoin. And as you know, in this red channel, the price of Bitcoin started to rise from the 8th of October here. And as you can see, we've had a parabolic rise that we haven't seen since the end of 2017 when we ended up having a blow off top around the 19,800. But there is a lot of information in this chart actually, which will help us to understand exactly what's going on with the Bitcoin price. So let me just show you a little bit of these things. So while the price for Bitcoin started going up gently up to this top of the channel here. Now, we were all expecting the price to top out at this channel and come back down as per the historical chart patterns and what have you. However, what happened here was totally unprecedented in the sense that there was and still is a huge amount of pent-up bullish demand, which actually can be seen in the charts by looking at this particular candle. Once we pass this channel, look at how long this candle is. So there was a huge surge which said basically we're not going to accept being in this channel anymore, we're going to go out. And what did the bears do? And if you look at this, the bears tried to push it right back down to the channel here, but they failed. Normally they would have succeeded in this manner because we're at that part of the cycle. However, the bulls came in and they pushed the price even higher. And then the bears tried once again, failed. They tried once again here in a very big way and failed. And they're trying again to try and push the price back down. But the demand in the Bitcoin is so much that this parabolic rise is still ongoing. We have still not broken this actual trend. So we're still in this upward trend for Bitcoin, and we won't break this upward trend until we get below this candle here, this particular candle, which is at 6,200. It came down twice to hit the 16,200 level. So until we break this, we won't break this upward structure here. Let's have a look at now the indicators to show us exactly where we can expect the market price for Bitcoin to go in the next few days and weeks. Let's start off by looking at the weekly exponential moving average. As we know from our history that Bitcoin has a habit of coming back to the 21 weekly exponential moving average as support before moving away from it and then coming back again time and time again. Now, we're expecting at some point for the price of Bitcoin to come back and hit the 21 weekly exponential moving average. We were thinking that it's going to hit the 21 weekly at the bottom of this channel, but it looks as though that the price of Bitcoin has moved further along the 4-year cycle. So it looks to me anyway, from just looking at this price changes, is that the price of Bitcoin won't come back to the 21 weekly until it's more closer to this channel here, because this is what happened in the previous bull market. As you can see here, this is where we thought it was going to happen. From the top of this channel, it's going to come back to the 21 weekly exponential moving average. However, this is the parabolic equivalent rise that we've had. And when we had that in 2016, the 21 weekly, which is the yellow line here, kept creeping up through the red channel that we created to pass the red channel, whereby the price then came back and then hit the top of the red channel as well as the 21 weekly exponential moving average. So it looks highly probable. Remember, there are no guarantees with Bitcoin or with cryptos or with investing. It's all about probabilities and possibilities, and it's nothing about certainties. Nobody can guarantee certainties. So we're about here in this, from this 2016 market, and looks like we're going to be coming down sooner or later, but there's a lot of action in the price that's going to occur before this happens. What we can see from this chart here is that the interesting thing is that we've got a doji candle, which is basically a reversal candle that we've got now. And as you can see, whenever you get these kinds of doji candles, they're a signal. It doesn't always happen. It looks to me as though the market has topped off in the short term anyway, and that we might be making a return to the baseline around these levels here. So currently, the 21 weekly exponential moving averages are running around about the 13,500 level. And after today, which is Sunday, this will probably move up to the 14,000 level. So it'll be around about that mark there. So in that ballpark figure. And as the price starts to come back down in the next few days or weeks or whatever, you remember with Bitcoin, it can happen very suddenly. You get one big massive candle and it'll shoot it back down. So anything can happen, obviously, but it looks highly probable that when the price comes down for Bitcoin, it's going to find support around these levels here, which is at around about the 15,000 mark, by which time the 21 weekly exponential moving average will have moved up to those levels in the next 2 weeks or so, or 3 weeks. So this is where it looks the most likely scenario. If we move on to the 4-hourly EMA ribbons, these are a series of various moving averages which give us the strength of the momentum of the rise in the market that we've had recently since the 8th of October around here. So you can see here that the strength of the bull market is such that at no point along it did we actually break out of the 4-hour EMA ribbons until we got to this point here. And when we did break out, you would have expected a big correction all the way down here. However, like I said before, the strength of the bull market in the last 4, 5, 6 weeks has been so strong, and there have been so many people wanting to buy back into Bitcoin, that as soon as there was a little bit of a sell-off, all the coins, all the demand started picking up straight away, and basically we went back straight above the ribbon. So that's what I'm saying here, that the trend that's been upgoing is still going, because we still haven't fallen out of the 4-hour EMA ribbons here. They're usually a very good sign that when we fall out, it tends to actually be a big fallout after that. And if you can see before in the history, once we fall out, you can see that there's usually a big sell-off. But when we get back up again, then we get this run. So if you look over here, whenever we fall out, we have a downtrend. When we fall out, it's another downtrend. So historically, this is what tends to happen with the 4-hourly. There are usually a sign that we're on a downtrend once it falls below it. So this time it didn't happen at all. There was so much pressure to buy back into Bitcoin. The FOMO, the fear of missing out, was so strong that if the price for Bitcoin pushed straight back up above the 4-hourly ribbons. Currently, as you can see from here, we're making another attempt to break these ribbons. So whether we'll be successful this time around, we'll have a look at some of the other indicators to tell us where this is heading very shortly. If we have a look at the historical volatility index, which is this yellow line here, that's the index, and the pink line I've drawn here for you is at the magical figure of 40. So what we find historically is that once the index goes below the 40 mark, we can expect a very big volatile move to come. And we've looked at this index many times before, and we were saying around here, when the index was about just below 40 here, that a big move was coming. And at that point, it looked like it was going to come to the upside, and exactly what happened. So we've had this parabolic rise recently, and that covered that point here. But we're currently still in the below the 40 mark. So it looks to me here that another big move is coming. Is it going to be to the upside or the downside? Only time will tell, and we need to look at the other indicators, because this indicator doesn't say it's going to be up or down. It just tells you a volatile big move is coming very shortly. So as you see from here, at this point when it was below the 40, it was telling us that the move is coming, but it came to the downside. At this point here, it was telling us another volatile move is coming, this time to the upside. This one here told us it's coming to the downside, etc. So if you look at this one here, it hit the minus 40 or below the 40, and it was telling us it's coming to the upside. So again, all the indicators are very powerful and accurate indicators. So currently it's saying that a big move is on the way. Which way it will go, we don't know. We need to look at the other indicators to ascertain that. And one of the very accurate indicators is the BitMEX funding rate. So let's have a look at that. So the BitMEX index chart is actually showing that we're now in this cluster here. And if we look at this cluster, this is telling us when the cluster is above the zero line, when it's above it, it tells us that the market is about to top off. So we can expect the price to be coming to the downside here. As we had a look at this cluster before, which was telling us that we're going to have a parabolic rise. This cluster here, above the zero line, was telling us that the market is going to come down. This cluster here was telling us that the market is going to be going up. So when the cluster is above, the market tends to go down. When the cluster is below, the market goes up. So currently, the index is showing us quite clearly that the BitMEX funding rate is in the positive territory, which means that there is more probability for the market price to come back down. So whilst we've got the HV, the historical volatility, saying a volatile move is coming, the index, the BitMEX index funding index is telling us that the move is going to be to the downside, not to the upside. So the question is, will the move down here correspond with the 21 weekly around this point here, around the 15,000 mark, and use that as support to then go into this parabolic phase of the bull market for the next 12 months? So this is where the targets are, going up to here from where we are currently. Okay, a quick word about long-term investing, because here at Wisdom Bites, we're in it for the long term, as we have been. If you've been watching my videos for the last 12 months, we've been talking about this target of 300,000 in the long-term picture. So what I would say is that if you're in the crypto space for the next 12 months or more, 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, which we are here at Wisdom Bites, then it really is not important whether you have bought Bitcoin at 12,000, 16,000 or 20,000. As long as you buy Bitcoin in between this 21 weekly moving average and where we are currently, as long as you're accumulating around these levels, it really is not worth stressing about a few $1,000s when at the end of the bull market over here, the price of Bitcoin is expected to be around the $300,000 mark. When we get to these levels here, to the 300,000, and you look back at the price down here, you'll realize it was not actually worth the stress over a few $1,000s. And in the big picture and the long term, as you can see, there really is not much difference between 10, 15 or 20,000 Bitcoin here. When you think long term and look at the bigger picture, you have really no stress or anxiety. So please take the stress and the anxiety. If you haven't already been accumulating around here, well, really, when you look at this target here, surely this is a fantastic opportunity to accumulate as much as you can. I mean, it looks very obvious here that between the 21 weekly and the current price of 19,000, this is still a fantastic opportunity to get in with Bitcoin and keep on accumulating, because at the end of next year, you're going to actually look back at this and realize that that was a very sensible move. So please don't stress about a few $1,000s. Yes, we would all like to buy at the 21 weekly, which is a bit lower, but we should be accumulating as much as we can. And if it does get to the 21 weekly, then we should accumulate more, because that would present an even better opportunity. So my view is that as long as we accumulate as much as we can around these levels here, then at the end of the bull market next year, then we will all be winners when we get to the $300,000 mark for each Bitcoin. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the overall bigger picture and know that when we get out at the top of the bull market here at the target of 300,000, at what point do we get out? That is the million-dollar question. Well, I've shown you these indicators before. It's the 111, the orange line is the 111 daily moving average, and the green is the 350 daily moving average. And what these two have predicted in the past is actually quite shocking, because when you look at this, in the last bull market when we reached 20,000, you can see quite clearly here, if we go closer even, that at the point when we crossed the 111 over the 350, that was the top of the bull market in 2017. If we go a little bit further back, the previous bull market to that, this was the end of the bull market in December 2013. Look at the 111 over the 350 daily moving average, exactly where the cross was. I'll show you a little bit closer there. That's the cross there. And that was the end of the previous bull market in 2013. The one before that, as you can see here, once again, 111 over the 350 daily moving average, and the market topped out there. Even if you go further back to the very first market, we don't have enough data to show the cross, but you can see, if you just eyeball it, that this green line was going to cross anywhere around here. And that is where the top of the bull market was there. So 1, 2, 3. So 3 bull markets have been actually predicted by these two moving averages. So where are we currently with these? Well, if you look at the gap between the green and the orange line, this is our target. You can see quite clearly the trajectory is moving in a way whereby the faster moving 111 daily moving average will be crossing the 350 daily moving average. Wherever this crosses, and our prediction is that it's going to cross around about here in about 1 year's time, around end of December 2021. Well, the difference between these two lines is around about 34%. So if you do that, I've already measured it, it's around about 34-35% here. And that gives us a clue that if we measured over here, when the market was, or these two lines were the difference between 34-35%, it takes us to around about here, when the market was about 34% difference in terms of these two moving averages. And from then on, from here, it took about 12 months to get to the top of the market. So if the current bull market was to follow the same trajectory as the previous bull market, then the chances are we will hit our target of 300,000 around about the end of next year. So we'll wait and see. We'll keep on looking at this every few videos, every month even if you want. We can keep looking at where these lines have got to and how close we are to our target at the end of next year. If you want to support our channel, all you'd have to do is go down below one of my videos here, and in the description box there's an affiliate link for the Etoro trading platform, and below that are the reasons why I use the Etoro platform and why it's such a fantastic platform to use. And for all those people who have already used this affiliate link to support the channel, thank you very much indeed. Your support is very much appreciated. And if you want to support us further, you can always click the like button here and join the Wisdom Bites community here by subscribing to our channel. Okay, so I'm going to have a look at a few of the Bitcoin miners which have got similar charts to Bitcoin, as you'll see, but they seem to be at a different stage of the growth of their price and what have you. Now, in the UK, these assets are only available through brokers like Hargreaves Lansdown. They're not available on Etoro or the Coinbase or any of the normal exchanges you would buy the cryptocurrencies. Now, I'm only showing you these for educational purposes only, so please do not take this as financial advice. This is just to widen our horizons, just to show you that there are other assets available and that their charts, because I'm really more interested in the charts, that their charts are very, very similar to Bitcoin, but they're at different stages of their growth cycle. So if we look at Hive blockchain, it's a Canadian company as far as I know, that mines the Bitcoins as well as the Ethereum in Canada. And if you look at the top of its chart, if you look where it is, it's around November, December 2017, which is obviously in line with Bitcoin. And since then, the market, as you can see, has been in a similar bear market like with Bitcoin over the last 3 years. But recently, just like Bitcoin, from December 2019, it's been moving in the upward direction. Now, I've put the pink line on there for you as a trend line, which is looking at the resistance lines. It has been there since in June 2018. So for the last 2.5 years, this resistance line has not been broken until recently, around November 20, so last month, that's when it broke through. As soon as it broke through, as you can see, it went into a parabolic rise there. Now, this pink line actually resembles to me the same trend line that was difficult to break, which was the 10,500 line for Bitcoin. So once we broke that, we went in a parabolic rise. If you look at the Bitcoin chart, we had this 10,500 line that we drew many, many times around here. So if we look at this horizontal line there, this line was there from all these times back from about 2018. And once we kept coming up to it, once we broke it up here, we used it as support. And since then, we've been on a parabolic rise. And this is very similar to what's happened with the Hive. If we have a look here. So we recently broke it last month, and we're actually at this point here at a current price of $1.26. The high for this this asset was actually at around about the $6.70 mark. So we haven't even reached that level there yet. So while Bitcoin has come up to the 20,000 all-time previous high, Hive has not even come up to that level yet. So there may be more room to grow for this one here. And similarly, for another one called Marathon Patent Group, which went into the Bitcoin mining. And as you can see at the top of its market was around the December 2017, similar to Bitcoin. It came down similar to Bitcoin and is doing similar things to Bitcoin now. And we're just breaking this corresponding line of the 10,500 with Bitcoin. We're just breaking that now and using that as support. If we just zoom in on here, you can see that we went above it, quickly got moved back down, but the bullish pressure pushed it back up there, and now we're coming back down to retest it here. And then it looks to me as though we're going to be off to the races very, very shortly. Towards the all-time high was $38.59 around here, $38.50. We're currently at $5.40. And it looks to me as though this chart is looking extremely bullish, and we're on our way towards the $40 mark here. Only time will tell. This is all probabilities. This is not financial advice. You have to do your own wider research, but this is what I'm looking at currently. And similarly, there's another one which looks very good as well, is the Riot blockchain, another Canadian miner. And again, it topped out in December 2017 at around about the $46 mark. Currently it's at $10, so 4 times less. And again, it broke its trend line here, the equivalent of the 10,500, around about October, so 2 months ago. And since then, it's been going parabolic. So I'll keep you updated with these assets. Like I said, they're not available on Etoro or any of the normal cryptocurrency exchanges. In your individual countries, they'd probably be available in with brokers. This is not financial advice. I'm just saying where they might be available. Okay, so we'll wrap it up there. Thank you once again for watching. Much appreciated. Now, if you found value in this video, then please do remember to like, subscribe, and to turn on the notification bell. Until the next time, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.